asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritangamaya avir maidhi rudro yatte dakshinam mukham tena mang pahi nityam tena mang pahi nityam. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality, and evermore shine in our hearts with your resplendent face. Om, peace, peace, peace be unto us all. So we are back to our reading on the Shanti Gita, that song of peace, because Arjuna got peace listening to this great message from Lord Krishna when his son Abhimanyu was killed on the 13th day of the war of Mahabharata war. And Sri Krishna gave this message, what he gave before, that eternal message of the birthless, deathless nature of the soul, and that helped Arjuna to get rid of his bereavement and suffering. So that's why it's called, it brought peace in the heart of Arjuna. And they came back, and next day again could fight for the right reason. So we have read up to the 4th chapter, and we are in the 5th chapter. We'll start reading to the 5th chapter, 10th verse. So in brief, just going back a little bit in the 5th chapter where it started, Arjuna was putting a question, that I have a question to know. If a knower of Brahman, he who knows who am I, what is his duties? What is the do's and don'ts of that person when one realizes that I am that infinite, okay? And they come down. So that was the question, and in response Sri Krishna says, the duty and do's and don'ts does not have any relevance with a knower of truth. Tattvavit, those who know the truth, for them it does not matter what they do, what they don't do, because they don't do anything wrong. First of all, Ramakrishna said, expert dancer never makes a false step. Even they make a false step, that is considered to be a artwork, special art. Rabindranath Tagore, if he writes anywhere anything which is not rhythmic or anything, I'm not saying it has, but if it is, then it is considered art soprayog. It is the application of the rishis. It is not a fault, it is a glory. So that means the knower of truth have no responsibility, and there is no do, this is to be done, no, this is to be forbidden as per us. We are spiritual seekers. This is the morality, this is right, this is wrong, you should do, you should don't do. These are applicable for us who are involved in our karma. We are prompted into our action, and action is good or bad. So, te akartaro, kartabbam vyapi akartabbam nasti tattvavit sakhe. Oh my friend, there is no such do's and don'ts for a person like who have realized the truth. Te akartaro, they have no ego. They are not the doer. We have sense of doer. I'll have to do it. This result is good, this is bad. People praise me, I did this good. People don't praise me because I have my ego. But these type of people are akarta, And they are Brahma-rūpa, they are almost like Brahman, who is beyond all do's and don'ts. And we are all controlled by the rules and regulations of the scriptures. So, for us, what is to be done, what is not to be done, we should have to follow what scriptures say, Vedas say. But for this realized soul, Vedas have no control over them, because he has gone above the Vedas. Above the Vedas means Vedas are the expression of Brahman. And they have gone to a state, they are established in that Brahman consciousness. So they have gone beyond Vedas. Therefore there is no implication upon them what is do's and don'ts. And they are Swayam Brahma, they are Brahman themselves, they are Satchidananda themselves. And Sadananda, they live in that absolute bliss all the time. Vishranta Paramatmani, resting in the Supreme Self, they are perfectly joyful, eternally joyful. Therefore, they have no inclination to do what is good or auspicious. There is no disinclination to avoid which is bad, because in their eyes everything is God, everything is divine. So for them these rules don't apply. And therefore, if there is no such impetus of inclination and disinclination for auspicious and inauspicious activities, there cannot be any result. A child does everything. Sometimes it may be good, it may be bad. But the result of good and bad does not go to them, because they have no ego. So the Brahma-Gyanis, the knowers of truth, they remain in that egoless state. Therefore what their body does, because they don't identify with the body, it does not affect them, because mind is not connected with them. Therefore, deho pran mano buddhi chitta ahankara indriyam daivancha vasana chesta tadjugat karma sambhava. It's a big philosophy. How does one perform action? That is in the 5th verse, we have read already, that you need a body, deho, and that body not to be dead body. It should have a prana. Prana, the vital energy should be there. Mano, it should be mind, connected with the mind. See, a person who lost his mind, so he has no karma. But karma to perform, you must have a mind. Not only mind, you will have some determinative faculty, your intellect. Your intellect also should guide, right or wrong, doing this and going down. Even our driving, we took resolution. No, my buddhi, intellect drives me. Go to the second lane, go to the third lane, or the fastest lane. No, how do you go there? Unless there is some force acting behind your mind, that's the buddhi. And I am driving, I am cooking, I am cleaning, I am talking. So there should be I. So to have any activity, we must have this body, one body should be there. The pranic energy should be in the body, not dead body. And that pranic energy with the mind in it active. And also their intellect is also active, and ego is also behind them. These are the things. But alone this cannot function. There you need daivancha vasana. Vasana means desire. I will do that. That vasana, the prompting force should be, there should be some desire. I shall do this. You may have everything, but you say, I will have to go to the Trader Joe's. So there is a desire. And desires makes you to go out and take a key and have a car and then drive and come back or walk, whatever. So impetus is the desire, vasana. And effort comes after that. And daiva means, but all you may plan, but if there is no master plan, the God does not approve that, you start your journey, there will be heavy traffic, you cannot move one step. Suddenly some big thing will happen where all your plan is massacred. So by the grace of God is also necessary. So these are to do any work we need this. It's a very, very scientific thing to understand. All our actions are prompted by desire. And desire prompts us to work. We need a body with prana or energy, breathing. And that should have a mind action acting behind. Behind that will be their intellect should be functioning, and the ego, I, should be functioning. All these put together, then you start with the vasana, desire, prompting us to go to the right, go to the left. I will sleep now, I will wake up now, I will do this, I will don't do this. All these activities are possible with that. And then you need God's grace, God's favor. We plan so many things in our life. How many plans get successful? How many fail? Why? You made your all effort. There is the grace of God. According to Gita, there is a need. What God wills, that will happen. Good or bad, whatever you think apparently. So these are the things for, with this association of this, how many things? Body, the prana, the life force, 2, mana, 3, buddhi, intellect, 4, ego, 5. But these are not all. Vasana, desire should be there behind to push this engine. And even if you push the engine, do all these things, there is a cosmic plan, that's called God's will. It should associate, then you will be successful or not successful. Or if it's God's will, it will not happen, it will not happen. But it is to happen, it will happen. So these are the 5 things necessary for doing any karma. So how scientific? This is the universality of Hindu religion. It is not dogmatic thing, you believe this, that. In our life we can match with this and we can justify ourselves. Yes, this is happening. You cannot ignore all these arguments. So better to surrender God to God. That comes the escape from this wheel of birth and death. And this is wheel of birth and death comes because of my karma, because of my desire, because of my another thing. This way, positive, negative, good, bad, all karmas are done. 5 factors plus daiva, means God's grace, and your own vasana, desire, and attempt to do something. But jnani sarvam vicāreno nirasya jara-bodhata. But the jnani, the knower of truth, he lives like a jara, like an inert person. And sarvam vicāreno, by his analysis, he separates out everything. I am neither the body, not the mind, not the intellect, not the ego. These are all physical things. I am not that. I am the conscious entity. I am that conscious entity behind everything. This type of analysis, they make separate themselves. I is not this I, this petty little I. My, that's why I fight with your I. Why we fight all the time? My I, your I. My saying, my mind is telling like that, your mind is saying like that. My understanding is that, your understanding is that, and there is the fight going on. In Atman, where is the fight? You don't go to the background of all things, the consciousness. There is no fight. All meanness, unkindness, stupidity happens in this body, mind, emotion, ego. And the desire. I desire this way, you desire that way. And fight with each other. We don't know what peace will come. Peace will never come in this foolish attempt. You have to disidentify. But you hang on to that level and bring back again and again and again and again and again and again hammer. And we want to be free. We want to be happy. So, because Jnani does not mean intellectual knowledge. We have intellectual knowledge. We give big talks, lectures, advice. But not that. That will not do. By proper analysis, nirasya, discarding, jara-bodhata, this body is not functional by themselves. Dead body and this body, no difference. Only prana is here working, mind is working, and in there is no prana, there is no mana, there is no buddhi, there is no ego. So, sarupe, and what is that? You have to analyze this. that everything is matter. Only one thing is consciousness. And that consciousness is Brahman. In Hinduism we call Brahman. That conscious entity is the only thing reality. And its nature is eternal bliss, absolute peace, absolute happiness, absolute reality. That is called Satchidananda. A knower of truth rests in that Satchidananda. And we live where? Either in the body, or in the mind, or my understanding, your understanding. My is in always, I am the boss. My understanding will be the best understanding. Yours are nothing, lost. My ego is the best ego. Your ego is idiotic ego. So there is the conflict comes. Karma comes there. But these holy people, they have raised their consciousness into that state of, we call God. Simply in dualistic language we call God. In Vedantic language we call in the Atman, in the Paramatman, in the Supreme Self, which is all absolute bliss and joy. Vishranto, you rest there. Cho advaya tataha. And live in that advaya, non-dual. That absolute non-dual state, they live. Therefore, this body's karma, body what is doing, it has no connection with them. They are resting in that absolute bliss. That's why the story is there. What is that story? Alexander the Great, he went to see a sadhu, holy man in Himalayas. And the holy man was having nothing, a naked fakir. No dress, nothing, smearing ashes, just in a rock lying down, and the sun, beam of sun, sunbathing. And Alexander went and said, "Hey, sir, with respect, I am pleased with your, how can you live like that? So we want you to adore and respect. Come to my palace. I will keep you with honor and dignity." And he said, "What? Get out of my way. I am sunbathing." He's like a child. He does not care. And Alexander got a little ego hit. I am the Emperor Alexander. He's speaking like that. Then he took out his sword. "Do you know, I am this, I can kill you." And that fakir, penniless beggar, no position, nothing, not even a cloth to wear his body. And he burst into laughter in front of the sword. "You kill me? You are a liar. You told so many lies in life. This is the greatest lie you are telling. I am Atman. The fire cannot burn me. Water cannot soak me. Air cannot dry me. I am Atman, I am pure. Sword cannot cut me." It is good to say in this hall, between good people and no one is with a sword in hand here. When he faces any danger, "I am Atman, kill me." What are you? All intellectual genius, boom, and goes into their void. So this is therefore, that they have no identification there. And therefore, they know this is jada. It is like the same like a piece of wood. This body is the same. Is it not? When you go to the doctor, what they do? They treat it for what? They make you put you into anesthesia and then do whatever they like. They cut the heart and bring out the heart or stitch somewhere, add some tube here and screw here something and return you like a car, your car workshop. So it is jada, it is matter. Only the consciousness is that is the reality. So they live in that consciousness, therefore they don't care what happens to the body. So they have no karma. They have nothing to gain, nothing to lose. They have attained. Karmaleshu bhavenna niskriyat atmataya jati. But understand, if you take this stand and you start become not doing anything, you cannot reach that state of non-dual state where it's beyond karma. You have to do karma and reach there, a state, plateau, where there is no karma. Therefore, tassaiva phalo bhogasya yena karma kritam bhavet. So, that karma is to be performed by us. to go to the state of naishkarma, a state where there is no karma. And what you find in the Brahmagyanis, like Ramakrishna, Vivekananda, Christ, Buddhas, Ramas, Krishnas, Sri Chaitanya, what you see, Sarire Sutijat Karma, in their body, you see that they are working, they are going. He was born in Jerusalem, he is going to the Sermon on the Mount, he is giving advice here, he is preaching this philosophy of love everywhere. You see that karma, jat pasasi, these are not ahankarascha savasa karta bhoktatva karmana. They are not doing any work, they are reflected consciousness on the mind and body, that is working. And then you see his body is working, but he is remaining in the conscious self. Jnani is always in his own glory, in his own divine light stands there. And sangasparsau tato nasto. And there is no touch of this world and worldliness. They are bhanuvat loka-karmavi. They are like the sun. Sun does the major work, no? But does sun do anything? The sun is sun in the sky. But the whole world runs on the sun clock. You get up what time? Sun says. You sleep what time? Sun says. But sun does not tell anything to you. So similarly, Brahmagyanis, they live in the world, they dictate the world, their message is percolated to the heart of us, and we get the spiritual benefit of it. But they are not affected by it at all. Now let us start the verse number 10. You can chant with me. Vicarati gṛha-kārye, vicarati gṛha-kārye, tyakta-dehābhimānaḥ, tyakta-dehābhimānaḥ, viharati jana-saṅge, viharati jana-saṅge, loka-yātrānurūpam, loka-yātrānurūpam, pavana-sama-vihārī, pavana-sama-vihārī, rāga-saṅgādi-muktaḥ, rāga-saṅgādi-muktaḥ, vilasati nija-rūpe, vilasati nija-rūpe, tattvavit vyakta-liṅgaḥ, tattvavit. So what does it say? Vicarati gṛha-kārye. Suppose you see a Brahmajnani, a knower of truth, he is vicarati gṛha-kārye, in the household work. He is doing some household work. But how they do? Not like us. We do, it's my house, I am doing this, it is clean, it is unclean. But they do tyakta-dehābhimānaḥ. They do work there, but there is no ego sense in them. They give up. Tyakta means give up. What they give up? Dehābhimānaḥ, the identification with the body. Dehābhimānaḥ, ego sense. I am not doing, my body mind is doing. Okay? I am not the body, not the mind. I am holding. I am not the car, but I am the driving. I am the car, sitting in the car. The car is doing. This is the body is doing, functioning. Exactly like the car moves. You take an example of Uber. Example is good. You go. You are the boss. You say, I like to go to Santa Monica. Just you enter into the Uber car and say, you don't do anything, you just sit there. The driver is driving, the engine is moving, the headlight is on, left side, right side signal is blinking on this time, that time, but you are doing nothing. But you are the boss, without doing anything, you are moving from one place to another as it seems. So though you people see that this Ramakrishna is walking, Vivekananda is in the Chicago Parliament of Religion, he is giving speech, she is going to New York, and starting this Vedanta society there. He is lecturing in Pasadena and in Blanchard Hall, and people are appreciating, newsmen are coming. You see all these things. But he knows this body is working, mind is working. I am Satchidananda. That's why his powerful words influence the whole world. Because what he said is not like us. We are saying from our intellect. Whatever we are expressing through our mind. And he is speaking from deeper depth of consciousness that is coming out. That's why that has so much impact. The Upanishad. What are the Upanishad? What are the Bhagavad Gita? They are only some sayings. But they become so strong and impact our life. Why? Because it is coming from Satchidananda consciousness, the eternal self. And it's coming straight through a channel where there is no cloud. So that's why vicarati gṛha-kārye, when they move around in the household duties, or they eat, they sleep, they take a shower, then they go to different places. As I said, Swami Vivekananda go move. Even Ramakrishna is going to Dakshineshwar, to Calcutta, to meet the devotees, talking to them. Isn't it? Body is moving. Vicarati gṛha-kārye, tyakta-dehābhimānaḥ, giving up, renouncing the idea that I am the body. Viharati jana-saṅge, or he is mixing with hundreds of people. Vivekananda, how many hundreds of people will throng around him whenever he goes anywhere? In the Chicago Parliament, you forget, there are 7,000 people. They assemble for the lecture. But that time also, all are running over the benches and pews, no? To touch the gown of Vivekananda. And when he is speaking outside, in the streets of New York and here and where, people used to rush and look at him. But he is living in his consciousness. There is a story, no? Swami Vivekananda used to go in San Francisco. He has to go to give a talk. But you have to catch the steamer or some whatever communication. So Swamiji is walking in his own royal, and he thought that his shoes should be shining, shoe shining should be done. So he started for shoe shining. His attendants and other guests who were the devotees are saying, Swami, we'll be late. We'll be late in lecture. Then he said, you live in time, I live in eternity. Huh? We will say most impractical person. But they live in eternity. That's why they don't hurry like that, there is no anxiety like that. And he jokingly said, if I don't go, nothing will start. Because he is the speaker. But such a sensible person, talking like not very natural talk, but you can understand where is their mind. You live in time. Yours is 8 o'clock, 8:08, 5 minutes to 8. For me, I live in eternity. That word is very important. So viharati jana-saṅge, when it mixes in the community of people, gathering people, loka-yātrānurūpam, and they behave and talk like as we talk, no? But pavana-sama-vihārī, they are like the wind. Wind passes through and it carries what? Good fragrance, flower, jasmine, it carries. Or it goes to a foul area, it foul smell. But the air does not get polluted. It appears that the air has been polluted. Air cannot be polluted. Air is air. But the fragrance or the bad smell, it appears that he is gathering and he is bringing good fragrance, bad fragrance. But as air is unpolluted all the time. So pavana-sama-vihārī. And how? Rāga-saṅgādi-muktaḥ. Raga means attachment. Ours is I attach, and saṅga is the association. We associate with the world, we get attached to it, and there comes the reaction in other way. We intellectualize that. We are intellectual people. The lawyers, what they do, intellectual people. They can argue this way, they can argue the other way. The same case, two people are fighting. Both are on intellectual level. This interpretation means this, sir, this, sir, this, sir, your highness, sir, 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 sir. And you said, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And whose intellect will be winning? Who has a higher intellect, no? But these are all intellectual things. So he says, and these holy people are like pure wind, unattached by the fragrance, like a pure wind carries the fragrance or the foul smell, but air remains perfectly separate. Similarly, these holy people, rāga-saṅgādi-muktaḥ, they live in the rāga, means attachment, and saṅga means association. They don't associate, they live, appear to be associated like a wind is associated with, as if it has become foul. It is neither foul, it is neither sweet. It is that is. It is always the same, pure. Remaining their purity inside. It appears to be associated and appears to be attached, but they are neither attached, neither associated. They remain free. That's the beauty of the freedom. Freedom from all entanglements. And what they live, how they live? Vilasati nija-rūpe. They playfully stay in their own divine self. They rejoice in their inner self. No? As the holy man in the Himalayas says, don't disturb me, I am sunbathing. Why are you talking to come to my palace and you are standing in between the sun and me, and you are making me stopping my sunbath. Sunbath is much important than that of going to a palace. He has no attachment. So this is the point. Vilasati nija-rūpe, tattvavit. Those are the vit, means knower of the tattva, the supreme reality. Knower of the supreme reality of vyakta-liṅgaḥ. Their linga means sign. Avyakta means unmanifest. They don't manifest any sign of their Brahma-jnana. And there is no sign of a Brahma-jnani. The Holy Mother said, suppose you are a Brahma-jnani, you will realize God. What will happen? How shall I know? Oh, he is Brahma-jnani. You are spiritual. How are you spiritual? Shall I see? A little horn is coming out, 1 inch, and then 2 inch, and 3 inch. Then we know you are a Brahma-jnani. No. So, vyakta-liṅgaḥ, you cannot see from outside a holy man and understand, unless you have such inner potentiality, inner purity in your heart. Or you will pollute every time, and you will disbelieve that person or misunderstand about him and create all the trouble for yourself and himself. So Christ was crucified. Misunderstood. So many honest people in the society, they always get the brunt of all these idiots. The suffering comes to them. But they don't feel that they are suffering because they live in their inner consciousness. See what a grand philosophy, and that what Brahma-jnana, why we study this book. If you want to do, you have to follow the footsteps of the Brahma-jnanis. Isn't that a beautiful verse, 10th verse? Vicarati gṛha-kārye, we find that he is, that Brahma-jnani, he or she, whether she is engaged in the household chores, vicarati gṛha-kārye, tyakta-dehābhimānaḥ, they have given up their identity from their body identity. Viharati jana-saṅge, they live in the community of people. Huge number of people are around his Ramakrishna, in the huge number of association, singing, dancing, going to samadhi, coming down, in between talking this, that, viharati, gṛha-kārye, tyakta-dehābhimānaḥ, they have no ego identity. They think it is not I. Ramakrishna is just mother. Mother is, I do not know anything. Mother is speaking. You see, we are reading Swami Adbhutananda. Adbhutananda, surprising. He didn't go to any school, even cannot write his own name. And only by spiritual practice and meditation become a Brahmajnani like that. And when he's giving the answers to the greatest scholars, we have to deeply know the philosophy of it. But he is spontaneously coming from his heart. His mouth is speaking all those things. And they are talking about nirvikalpa samadhi, why this, why that. What a critical questions they are putting. And what spontaneously Swami Adbhutananda Latu Maharaj is responding to that. Because they are loka-yātrānurūpam, they live in the world like our masses as they live in the world. But they are like a pavana-sama-vihārī. They roam around in the world like a wind, free from all entanglements. Entanglements of fragrance or foul smell. They live, but they never get attached. We get associated with that. Because Ramakrishna said, if you live in the world of soot, your body will get little shoot here and there. How much you are careful. But these are the people, outwardly they appear to be affected, but totally inwardly they are totally detached. Vilasati, nija-rūpe. They enjoy, they live, they play in their own form. What is the own form? Own divine form, Satchidananda form. They always think, I am unborn, I am infinite, I am that consciousness on which this body, mind is floating and it is having its function. I am not. I am not the driver, I am not the, what do you call this, steering, I am not the wheel, I am not the headlight, I am not the tail light, I am not the mirror, I am not the body of the engine. I am nothing. I am separate from the engine. I am separate from the car. So they always live in that awareness. Therefore, they don't do any work. And the work, what is done? That is done by the body-mind. So its translation runs like that. Manifesting in human form, body, the knower of truth roams around in his own self. Renouncing his body identity, he carries out household chores and enjoys himself in the company of the people, conforming to the social customs. When they go in a community, they behave, they eat with us. A Brahmajnani will not eat with us. If we want to have a lunch, Brahmajnani will eat with us. Apparently he is eating, you are eating, we are also eating. But our consciousness is in one place, and that holy people's consciousness remains in another level. They may be chit-chatting also outside, but they live in our inner consciousness. As Ramakrishna said, it is like a toothache. When our toothache starts, we do other things. But no one needs to remind you you have a toothache. Toothache remains all the time. So the consciousness of God remains in their mind all the time, though they behave, though they act like us. So, conforming to social customs, himself in the company of the people, they live, being absorbed in his real nature, like the breeze sports around, being free from passion, attachment, and similar such defects. So they get free from rāga-saṅgādi-muktaḥ. That means it is free from, sprouts around being free from passion and attachment. Raga means passion and attachment. So these are the two things which takes us to the worldly way, but they become passionate for God. So their internal awareness is always that consciousness. What a beautiful life, no? Even to hear about them gives us joy. They never, even in mistake, make identity with the body. It has been said in the Upanishad, Jakshat kridan ramamana stribhirva janoirva gyatirva vayasyairva nupajananayam smaran nidam sariram. That knower of truth, tattva Purush, living in the society, whether he eats, whether he makes fun, or with his friend, with his relatives and seniors or juniors, and enjoy the worldly things apparently outside in the outside world, but he never, even by mistake, make his identity with the body. That means making all external behaviors, his consciousness remains identified with the Atman. Shankaracharya have said, Pure Pauran Pashan Narajubati Nama Kritimayan Suveshan Swarna Lankara Kulitang Chitra Sadrishan Sayang Sakshi Drashta Iti Upi Chakalayang Stai Sahobasan Munirna Vyamohang Bhajati Guru Dikshak Shatatama. Those who have got initiated by their gurus, and by that their ignorance have been removed. That means following the Guru's instruction, they have understood that they are the Atman and they are the Tattvamasi. They are, I am that knowledge which has driven out their ignorance. And they live in that consciousness of uncovered blemishes of the eternal Brahman. That sage, whether he is garlanded with golden items or she is playing with the young girls, remain in the one place and does all activities, thus he lives in that state of that witness and doing all works remains unattached, untainted by the idea of I am the doer, I am the enjoyer, all those things. And another Upanishad, another scripture also supports the same idea. Shivo dharmottar padmapatrang yatha turoi shachairapi nalipati sabdadi vishayam bodhi taj gyani nalipati. As pure water, how much you pour water on a lotus leaf, the lotus leaf does not get wet. It only holds, and little water, wind comes, and the water rolls down. No attachment. Have you seen lotus leaf? And if you put water, it will appear that it is as if it is standing there. But it is so detached that little wind comes and it water drop rolls down. It becomes free. So they live in the world. They are in all this worldly thing as we are living, but they are totally free from that. In the similar way, that it is like the sound, taste, touch, this type of objects. It is like a water, and this knower of truth is like a leaf. So they are not get attached to these things. Therefore, those who are naivasti kinchit karbat kartambam asti chetna tattvavit, those who are enjoying the bliss of the Atman, they are fully satisfied. These yogis have no duty. And if there is any duty, then you know he is not a knower of truth. If he feels, I am doing this, it's my duty. A Brahmajnani has no duty. But he does to demonstrate the world Otherwise we will be all phakibaz. We will be all, what you call, escapist. Even Bhagavad Gita also said, you see, I am the Lord of the world, but still I am engaged in work all the moment. Why? Because I have no duty, I have no responsibility to do, because I am the Lord of the world. What is my duty? But still I do, to show that this world will have to work, to go beyond work. In this world or in the other world, loka-dayana kartavyam kinchidasya na vidyate. There is no duty either in this world or after death anywhere. They have no karma. And he is fully equanimity in their vision. He sees everywhere the Brahman everywhere. We see man, woman, good, bad. And this Brahma-Jnani sees this is all the divine sitting in different costume. They can understand the costume also. We see the costume only. We do not know what is inside. Inside is all God. Here, whatever I am seeing, it is nothing but God. Only different costume and shape and size. Therefore, they have denounced that, and this tie of the world and worldliness, they have cut those tie and had attained to a state of non-action. Therefore, there is no duty, no responsibility for one who is a knower of truth. And they are always unattached, beyond all action, and they remain perfectly satisfied in the fullest non-dualistic experience. And they say, what they say? King karomi, ka-gacchami, king gṛha-kārye, tajami king, atmana puritang sarvam, mahakalpam bunajata. Beautiful. He says, what shall I do? King karomi, ka-gacchami, where shall I go? King gṛha-kārye, what shall I grab or collect? Bhajami king, whom shall I praise? Because atmana puritang sarvam, everything is permeated by my own divine self. My divine self, that is the conscious self, the self which is full of bliss, is here and is permeated everywhere. So where shall I go? Wherever I go, it is I am there. Whatever I see, it is I only myself. Not this small I, but this big I which identifies with the infinite. I am that I. So I have no duty, I have no... Okay? So we end here. Only one verse we have read. That's also good. It is the 10th verse we have read today. If any question. Anyone have any question? You people have any question? So no problem. Vicarati gṛha-kārye tyakta-dehābhimānaḥ viharati jana-saṅge loka-yātrānurūpam pavana-sama-vihārī rāga-saṅgādi-muktaḥ vilasati nija-rūpe tattvavit vyakta-liṅgaḥ. Tattvavit, the knower of truth, there is no sign, external sign that you can recognize that he is a Brahma. That's the problem. Because there is no external sign, we think any idiot can befool us. He can beat a drum, I am a Brahma-Jnani, come to me. If you come, $1,000, then I can give you Brahma-Jnana within 5 minutes or 21 days. That's a sign. Of course there is a sign. That sign is that we hear that those people because of their egoless mental state, they like pure people. Those who love God, they find their association. Ramakrishna was crying and weeping. Come, come, ye boys, I cannot live without you who are pure in heart. I am tired of talking to people of world and worldliness. I cannot bear that. Talking about money, all the day and night, money, wealth, this, that. Every day goes that way. What you gain? When will you gain your divine nature, which is free from all danger of duality, of suffering, of pain, or agonies? Where will you get it? When will you get it? And so he's crying for them. So, viharati jana-saṅge, even in the midst of the people, in a group of gathering, they live tyakta-dehābhimānaḥ, giving up their identity, that I am the body, this identity. Pavana-sama-vihārī, they move in the world like a pure wind blowing, rāga-saṅgādi-muktaḥ, free from. Mukta means free. Pramukta means totally free. Totally free, or free from every aspect of life. Of what? Free? Dehābhimānaḥ. I am the body. I am the body is the cause of all suffering. All suffering starts there. If I say I could have been we, then how much change will happen? I will eat. If I say we will eat, what makes the difference? It's I expanded there, and you feel I cannot be without you. They are called the holy people, no? Those who make it I to we. And evil people in the world, we to I. Only I, only I, only I. That's why Swami Vivekananda said, selfless.
To make the groupism.
Eh?
To promote the groupism.
Groupism.
Yeah. So like 3-4 of them, if they want to bully one, and then they say, we don't like you, and then they fight, that is also weak. But they are using it in a bad way.
Why shall we get that bad example here? We are taking the right example. We want to be we means we for good purpose. We can make a gang members we. So that need not be taught in the spiritual class. That people do all by their own way. So that's a different we. All the negative people, they gather together. All the Durjodhana, Dushasana, and all the India, so that is we. Yeah. That is not our concern. That is taking them to where? To more negativity, more ignorance.
No, that is not uplifting them. My point is that.
And that will uplift. If this for we means expansion. At least there also some development is happening. He is not only thinking of himself, he is thinking we as a group will fight. That your identification. See, when you think you are alone and you think of your friend also with you, then your strength increases because you expand yourself. That is the part you have to take. Positive or negative. Negative side is, of course, it will have a negative effect. But the broadness of the heart is there among them, not only thinking I, but when they say we. Philosophically it is true. They also gain some benefit. Right?
Ramakrishna's Sangha is the we side of the thing.
And everywhere, any spiritual organization, they are we. And not only that, we means you think of others. I will eat. We will eat. I will be happy. We will be happy. And as you said, true, it can be used in a negative sense, but there is also expansion. There is also expansion. But that expansion is misdirected. Expansion, car will move, front gear or back gear. If you give it front gear, car moves this way. And give the same back gear, it moves that way. But the expansion happens, the energy comes, the spirit comes, but is applied in wrong direction. And that is applied in the right direction. We say, we will sing song, we will do bhajan, we will pray together, we will do japa. We do 24 hours, we will do japa. That we-ness, we identify with our in a positive way. And then we will gather together to destroy that house today, to bomb it. That's also a we. But there is that force is there, energy is there, totality, group is total there, rather than I single. That is the expansion side. But the force generated is applied for positive direction or negative direction. The main thing we are reading here, karma. Karma for whom? That is the point. The karma is for those people who are bound by their I-ness, me-ness. Shankaracharya's eternal message there, that it is ahamidam, mamaidam. I and mine. This is me, this is mine. And associating this me and mine, the whole world runs. If it is thee and thine, the what Ukraine, what is going on, what is Russia, what is Ukraine? Me, mine, or thee, thine. Same thing. As it happens in small home. Why we fight together? I, you. When you say we, then love, then affection. That where fight is coming? When I am separating from we. When we are saying we are, it is a small example. In your home, husband and wife, they can be totally united and blissful and joyful and peaceful. But they can I and I, we becomes I, then fight. Similarly, in a community, go in a county, go one county to the other county, neighboring county, go to one state to the other state, expand the same way, one state to the other state, Russia to this, to US to this, India, whatever happening, there is I-ness with the whole of India, I-ness with the whole of Russia, I-ness with the whole of US, those people who identify themselves. And they are, what they are saying as if the whole US is saying. Are we saying what US president says? What all the Russian people are talking, what the Putin is saying? No. But that is the way I and we. The whole world will be in peace if it is only we what comes in our life. And we can see why the world is so bad, because always we have been forgotten. I. And if there is no peace in the home, with two people, how can we expect peace in thousands of people? So this improvement of character is necessary, not talking big things. Every moment fighting with each other and trying to be spiritual, it is a nonsense. Rather make it we. And as a result, let the little ego abolish gradually, and that we should expand in a positive way. Our path is very simple. Vedanta path is there. It's a one absolute consciousness and bliss everywhere. We are only different ripples in the ocean of consciousness. Think that and dissolve all duality and find the unity in diversity. Swamiji's beautiful lectures are there, unity in diversity. So we end here because you have no question today. Wonderful. So I am thankful to you for no question. Huh? Only one question. Baba. Is it necessary that one must experience samadhi before attaining moksha. Moksha and samadhi are the same. We use the term in the same way. Moksha means liberation. Samadhi means a state when our little petty ego will be totally merged into the cosmic consciousness. So, their question stands, the before attaining moksha, it will be parallelly. As much as we move towards moksha, liberation, that much we get absorbed in God. And when you are perfectly absorbed in God in samadhi, then you are totally free from all duality. So, they go parallelly. Moksha world and samadhi world, they go parallelly. As you move towards the moksha, liberation, means freed from all entanglements, and moves towards the truth. And samadhi, your mind moves into that absolute merging into the truth. When they two parallelly move, that means when you attain moksha, in Vedantic term, you attain samadhi, in the nirvikalpa samadhi. There are samadhi, varied types of samadhi. As I give the example, varied types of samadhi, sabikaro, nirvikaro, sabicharo, nirvicharo. Like you may say, I went under the sea. You can go under the sea 10 feet down. You take a scuba dive, you can go down and down and down. Each experience is different. But overall we can say you are under the sea. So when you reach the ultimate level of diving deep into the bottom of the ocean, that is the samadhi, then your all world going on the surface of the ocean, how many ripples, how many waves, how many things, everything calm and still there. In the bottom of the ocean, think of that perfect stillness. There's no sound, no disturbance. And the top of the ocean surface, storm, billows, waves, ripples, one wave hitting the other wave, it going on. But in that depth, nirvikalpa samadhi, there's nothing, absolute stillness. This is a good way of meditating on the concept of samadhi. We are all fighting every moment. One wave, giving another, and all this, the life is dive deep, go down. That infinite calmness, infinite serenity, infinite peace. That's why Ramakrishna used to that sing, dive deep, dive deep, dive deep, oh my mother, mind. Okay? You wanted to say any question? So that is my idea, that samadhi, in the ultimate samadhi experience, is equal to moksha, means you have attained the liberation. There is nothing to bind you. You are free from all entanglements, all doubts, all confusions, attaining the perfect state of peacefulness and absolute joy, unending joy. Okay? Tell it, thank you. So we end here. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Tomorrow we will be having gospel class at 7:30 to 8:30. Like today, we will have tomorrow. Jai Ma. Also in person.